SubX.News. We're down here in the loop, our regular beat. It's 4:27 p.m. Monday afternoon. And the one striking thing today is there's a lot of Cook County police officers here stationed. It looks like, I don't know if they're downstairs in the subways or where they're at. I know they were doing a lot of theft detail the last few years. I have to do a couple of FOIA requests on the sheriffs. I did it a couple of times and I found out what they were doing. About 2 years ago, I started looking into it. They were doing a lot of retail theft stuff. So that's why retail theft numbers went down, because they all were being taken care of by the Cook County Sheriff. So you have a police, Chicago police. You got a Cook County Sheriff there, right? You got a bunch of people walking around with hoodies and masks on down here, right? And then you come here onto where we're at by Van Buren, where, see that guy there? He's walking around. That guy there, he's walking around with a hoodie and a mask on. Right there, that guy. And then you see all these cop cars and stuff. You see that there? You got a bunch of people out here with masks on. They're all walking around with masks on. Why you got a mask on? Oh, that's weird. They got see that? See all the sheriff's cars there? See all the sheriff's cars there? So, two things tell you that, right? One, there's people here that somehow they're wearing masks and hoodies. I don't know. I guess masks and hoodies ain't illegal, but I thought they were. Years ago, there was a law, and I thought it was in there. Maybe they took it out when COVID happened, but I have to double check it. Years ago, there was laws against wearing ski masks in public, unless it was cold or something like that. There was a law, and I remember that when I was younger. But I have to dig that law up if it's still there. And then the second part of it is you see all the cops around. So think about it. We've been told for how many years? It's crime is down, crime is down, crime is down. Everything is safe, everything is safe. Yet, you got people walking around with hoodies and masks on downtown. It's 4:30, right? We're going to go check out Upper Wacker over there and see what the traffic is over there, right? And then, see that guy's walking around. I don't know what he's doing. He's got a mask and a hoodie on. And we've been told everything is safe, crime is down, but yet you got these guys, I don't know what they're doing out here with masks and hoodies on. And then secondly, you see all the cop presence. If it's so safe, then why do you have all the cops? 4:30 News. Let's listen to 4:30 News. Oh, I gotta turn that down. No music, because I'll get banned. 4:30 News.
Dow up 95 points, the Nasdaq up 27, the S&P up 14.
There you go, mini bike. Look at that.
At 4:31. Americans who were on board that cruise ship struck by the deadly hantavirus outbreak are now back in the U.S. after a medical evacuation flight landed in Nebraska overnight. On board, at least one passenger began showing symptoms of the virus and another tested positive.
Earlier this morning, about a few hours ago, we actually saw those people, those 17 Americans being brought to the National Quarantine Center. They were brought in buses, they were brought in an ambulance. We saw them arrive. This is where they're going to be monitored right now. We do know that one person has tested what health officials say is mildly positive. Another person is showing symptoms.
CBS's Ian Lee. Meantime, there is some promising news if more passengers were to catch the highly infectious disease. WBBM's Brandon Eisen reports on renewed efforts to develop some kind of treatment.
Hantavirus is most often spread through exposure with infected rodents. The recent cruise ship cases transmitted from person to person, alarming public health officials across the globe. The Wall Street Journal now reporting on some quote-unquote promising candidates for a vaccine and treatment already sitting on a shelf and awaiting tests on human subjects. Among the candidates, an antibody designed to attack hantavirus, which has shown to protect hamsters from the Andes strain in question, developed by an international consortium of researchers from universities, biotech companies, and a U.S. military research institute. Brandon Eisen, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The county judge has some pointed questions for representatives of the state's attorney's office. It comes as she promises a May 21st ruling on whether a special prosecutor should handle potential criminal cases tied to Operation Midway Blitz.
State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke says this move by